Hey guys, this is Emmanuel, your emotion code practitioner out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Just want to do a really quick video in regards to a child that I worked with, and I wanted to do a testimonial, just kind of read what she said. These are for if you have a child or you have a baby, 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, up to 5. A lot of people say, what can I do in regards to their mental health? What can I do in regards to their behavior? Can we take them to a therapist? Obviously, what is the therapist going to do in that case? And the reality is could this baby have what they call inherited trapped emotions, which comes from basically energy coming from the mother or the father. It could be generations, 1, 5, 10, 15 generations. So I'm a certified emotion code practitioner out here in Las Vegas. I work with a practice called Coding Alternative. We're actually the highest rated practice right now. We have over 200 5-star reviews in less than a year, actually, and it's been a big blessing to work with people all over the world. One of my favorite things to do is to actually work with children. In fact, if you do have a child, one of my courtesy things that I do is I actually set up a free session with the mother or the father, and I work with them and ask them, what are 2 symptoms that are maybe that you see in your child that maybe are self-sabotaging, and then I work on those and remove energies using this emotion code chart and releasing using a magnet, which I have right here. It's a magnet, and I basically connect with the child from long distance. You may say, is this really possible? Well, that's why I offer a free session, because I wait for you to see improvements in the child, and then if you start seeing improvements, then obviously you can trust that if we work on their what they call heart wall, or that we worked on trapped emotions, or we use the body code, you're going to see some amazing improvements. And me personally, I personally love, absolutely love the idea, the possibility that you can work with the mother, and the mother just gives me permission and I can work with the child. I mean, think about how powerful that is, that the mother could be like, I'm worried about this child who does this. They're only 4 years old. I give you permission to work with them. You're out there in Kansas. I'm out here in Las Vegas. I'm removing these negative energies from the child's body. She could be with the in-laws. She could be inside the home. She could be in the pool playing. And she'll still receive all the positive ramifications of 2 people coming together on behalf of one person. It's incredible. So I just want to do, I want to show you guys a testimonial of this 2-year-old that I worked with recently. You may ask, is the emotion code worth looking into when it comes to my 2-year-old, 3-year-old? I mean, really, would you use an energy healer with a 2-year-old, 3-year-old? Really, there's no limit to, there's babies that are, 3 years old that already have horrible behavior patterns, or very aggressive or angry or frustrated behavior patterns, even younger than that. You mothers would know, and we don't know where to turn to. Most parents don't know where to go. Well, I'm giving you this perfect example of an amazing story. This mother was so impressed with this improvement that she actually wrote almost an essay on what happened to her son. And do you know how many hours we worked with this son? Literally 3 hours or less. Probably closer to an hour and a half. Yes, an hour and a half. So I did like a 30-minute intro session. I did one session 30 minutes, then a second session 30 minutes, and that's it. I think that's pretty much it. So it's between like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We can both admit that that's not a lot of time to work with the mother, and these are the results. Are you guys ready? So I wanted to share a testimonial. For me, I almost got to tears just reading this. It was really, really touching. This mother really is just amazed. In fact, she was so amazed by the results that now her husband is interested in looking into the emotion code. So are her kids, or her other 2 kids. She actually signed them up for more sessions. So I just want to read this to you real quick. Hopefully this touches you as it touched me. It was really, really impressive. And so I'm just going to read this to you real quick. So for anyone who has children with hyperactivity, anxiety, and other behavioral issues, please consider talking with Emmanuel Zavaios of Coding Alternative. Why? Let me tell you Ryan's story. And so prior to working with Emmanuel, Ryan was, as I lovingly call him, my little Tasmanian angel. Saying he was a handful is a severe understatement. He was like 3 toddlers all balled up into one. They were all going in different directions all the time. So he never stopped running literally from the moment his feet touched the floor in the morning until nap time or bedtime. He was always running from one direction. I don't know if you could see this picture here, but he's a beautiful boy. I don't know if you can see this picture here. Just a beautiful boy. In fact, just to show you how amazing this is that's the first time I've ever seen him, reality is, because, like I said, I only worked with the mother, and so she finally posted up this photo, and I was able to see him for the first time. I haven't even seen him yet, and he was receiving all these results. Incredible. So anyway, so he never stopped running, literally from the moment his feet touched the floor into the morning until nap or bedtime. He was always running from one distraction to another. He hated sitting still and wouldn't do so for longer than 10 to 15 seconds. Yes, I've timed it several times. This presented a problem when it came to structured learning activities like coloring, puzzles, reading books, etc. He had zero interest in any of it. He'd rather chew on the crayons, books, and paper, which he did often. I tried to teach him as he'd fly from one distraction to the next, but it wasn't enough to really help. By the age of 2, he was still pretty much nonverbal. This is, if you're taking notes, this is pretty amazing. Nonverbal with 5-word vocabulary, and then there was his chewing. So just remember here, he can only speak 5 words. Ryan chewed on everything, so he's a chewing issue too. He chewed so distractions, 5-word vocabulary, and chewing. He chewed his crib to the point of wood fibers getting stuck in between his teeth and his gums. He chewed the edges off his blue floor mats. Actually would swallow the pieces. He'd chew on his books, puzzle pieces, plastic toys, you name it. Which was totally mind-boggling to me because he had a very strong aversion to most foods. He would eat any veggies, 0 pastas or breads, no meats except bacon, and only a handful of fruits and cereals. But he had no problem putting leaves and cigarette butts in his mouth. Go figure. I like the way she writes. I can feel like she's talking. By the time I found Emmanuel in mid-July, I was worried for my son and at my son's wit's end. He offered a free consultation, which I was happy to take advantage of. During that session, Emmanuel worked on Ryan's chewing, food aversions, and hyperactivity. He also found that Ryan had a good-sized heart wall for his age. While I didn't see drastic change in Ryan's hyperactivity or his eating and chewing habits right away, what I did notice was that Ryan had become much more interested in reading his books and playing with his puzzles rather than eating them. And he was trying to communicate and talk more. I was definitely intrigued, enough that I booked a full treatment's worth of stuff. So his cognitive increase, basically his interest was increasing. And so Ryan's second session came in early August, where half his heart wall was cleared. Emmanuel also worked more on Ryan's hyperactivity, food aversions, and chewing. By the way, if you don't know what a heart wall is, definitely look at this video called Heart Wall 15 Minutes on YouTube. So again, put Heart Wall 15 Minutes on the YouTube search bar, and you'll see a video of me talking about it. Anyway, so Ryan's second session came early August. Okay, I read this. Where half his heart wall was cleared, Emmanuel also worked more on Ryan's hyperactivity, food aversions, and chewing. Okay, so I reread this. The session took place while Ryan was napping, and afterward, Ryan woke up as a completely different little boy. I put on a learning video that teaches shapes and colors. He actually sat down in my lap for 10 whole minutes. When he did finally get up, he wasn't bolting from one distraction to the next. My husband actually asked if Ryan was feeling okay because he was acting and being so calm. The days that followed that second session, it was as if the lid on Ryan's cognitive and communication skills had been ripped off and he was making up for lost time. He has since increased his spoken vocabulary to about 20 words, and his understanding of what is being said to him has doubled, dare I say tripled. He knows most shapes now and about 6 colors he can say and identify. And oh my gosh, since having the other half of his heart wall removed, he has become such a sweet boy. He's becoming super affectionate and now loves to give hugs and kisses and doesn't even mind sitting on my lap for a few minutes. He now plays with puzzles for maybe 5 to 10 minutes at a time. He still doesn't quite get the concept of reading a book, but he loves looking at the pages of the books, and he's finally getting into coloring. His chewing has cut down drastically. I only see him do it now and he's bored. He's also added several more foods to the list of foods he'll eat. I've seen such drastic changes in him in the month that Emmanuel's been working with him. Even still, I'm sure I'm leaving something out. The exciting part is we're not even done yet. Ryan still has 2 sessions left, if you're all intrigued about what I shared. So anyway, so that's her testimonial. I just thought you guys might appreciate this because some of you are dealing with a child who just has some behavioral issues or is getting frustrated quickly, angry quickly, or cries a lot, very emotional. Maybe he's dealing with pain, and sometimes, again, going to the doctor, going through this, it's very important, but why not give a boost in the immune system or something to assist the baby with behavior? I mean, behavior is a very rough area around those ages. But obviously here we have a perfect example of 2 years old, and we've seen a huge change. So hopefully you appreciate that story. I know it's something that for me, it really made me teary-eyed. I am one person, I'm probably one of the only emotion code practitioners that if for some reason the mother has a testimonial because of what I've helped her do, or a testimonial of the emotion code, I will still give a free session for every child they have. I'm one of the only ones that do that. If you have 10 kids, would it make sense to spend 30 minutes for each child if the mother already knows the emotion code works? No, because the complimentary session is made for someone who doesn't know if it works or not. But what if I were to tell you that I'd be willing to work with every single child of yours and do a free session? Then that's a different story. And that's how much I just have this thing. It's kind of my Achilles issue, my thing, that my weakness, if you will, is just working with children. So if I can do anything to help out your child, I know I would love to. And so again, this is the emotion code. If you don't know what the emotion code is, you definitely want to look at what is the emotion code on YouTube and write 15 minutes, or what is the heart wall, 15 minutes. You can also look at more information below if you'd like to set up a complimentary session. But this is one of my favorite stories of 2017. It was posted on my Facebook wall, and it brought me to tears. I'm so excited for this, for young Ryan, and I look forward to helping him out more. So with that, I'm going to end my YouTube video. Feel free to subscribe below if you want to get, if you're someone who's either an energy healer, or you like the emotion code, or you're an emotion code practitioner. We provide tips here, we provide testimonials here, and hopefully you were inspired by this amazing story. And so I never knew that, I knew some change would come, but I didn't know this much change would come, and I'm so impressed. I'm grateful for Dr. Bradley Nelson and his vision with the emotion code and body code. It's Dr. Bradley Nelson who's the founder of it. If you haven't read the book, it's called The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, and I believe this is the future of mental health. I don't believe it's in psychology or in the therapy of prescribing. I really believe that it has to do with energy work and assisting children, releasing things from them that are, even when they're there when they're young, or they're inherited, or whether that's their heart wall or their energetic imbalances. I believe that's the future of healing for our children in this generation. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.